What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a part that nobody makes, including other people that do this conversion. They don't sell this piece. They wouldn't even send me a drawing for it. So we got to get the tools out and get something done. Hey, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Let's go build something cool. Today, we've got our 60 series Land Cruiser. We're doing a Holley Sniper install and an LRA 40-gallon replacement fuel tank at the same time. So we're using an FJ60 tank for factory EFI on our 60 series, normally carbureted, because we're converting to the Holley Sniper system at the same time. There's some internal differences with the tanks and pickup and all that kind of fun stuff. Now, when I've talked to the guys, Mosler Motors, who we got the kit from, they say they always just hand make these when they're doing these things. And I was like, well, can you guys just send me one? Like, you know, whatever. And they're like, oh no, just make one. So we did with our normal shop tools because we didn't have our full fab area all set up at the time. Now, we did use plasma cutter to make the circle. You guys can use that if you've got access to one. If you don't have access to one, I would say either use a larger hole saw, or you could easily do it with, say, like a bandsaw, handheld bandsaw in the swag benchtop mount, or even, honestly, a vise, a grinder, cut-off wheel, that kind of stuff. You could totally do that too. So stick along as we show you how to build something that nobody else is building these days, and maybe you can use this in the future. We appreciate it. Enjoy. This flange is 7-bolt, and it is designed for the factory drop-in fuel pump hanger. We don't have that because our vehicle doesn't have it. What we have is the 6-bolt hanger, and this is supplied in the kit from Mosley, but this is actually a Tanks Inc. 6-bolt fuel pump hanger. I've called Tanks Inc. They do not make an adapter flange, so we're going to make our own. What I've done is taken some tape because the whole layout is not symmetrical. I've laid some tape over it and done a rubbing with a pencil, and that gives me my bolt hole layout so that we can easily transfer that over to our stock material. Got the same thing set up on our 6-bolt flange. Now this flange is symmetrical, but we still have to worry about our clocking because all of our hoses have to come out through this area. So it's real simple. I'm just going to take a pencil and put some tape on it, and you can see the holes and the edge pretty much just appear, just like Indiana Jones looking for the Ark of the Covenant. Why's it gotta be snakes?
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Alright, so we're gonna get this laid out. I also was sure to put an arrow down so that way I know which direction the tape needs to go once we take it off of here. So we're going to take our transfer and we're going to stick it on this piece of steel. This is 6 inches wide, and then it's like 3/16, maybe a 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty good sized stuff. So that'd be plenty rigid. It just would have been nice to make it out of aluminum, but we're not going to go source a bunch of material for this right now for a prototype. So we're going to store our radius. The technique here is applicable to dang near anything you're trying to replicate. It's not hyper laser accurate, but hand finishing will always make up for inaccuracies on the layout. So I'm just gonna probably grab the plasma and open this up real quick. I'll leave it square so that it's easier to deal with, and then we'll go in and cut the radius and then grind it to fit. But I want to have enough to hold on to and clamp to while we're drilling our holes. All right, easiest way to make sure your cuts are nice and straight with the plasma is use a straight edge as a guide. So we're just going to take this speed square so we got a nice straight line. And then we're going to clamp this guy down. It doesn't really matter where we cut it right now, just because we don't really have any preference, because like I said, we want to leave it enough where we can clamp it down. So you just use this square as a guide so that your hand is nice and steady. You know what? I think we're going to put this drill bit in the drill press. So I want these holes to be pretty straight. Alright, so our diameter is about 82.5-ish. So we're going to go to 41.25. We're going to pick a point on the outside of our circle here, and we're going to score it. And I just marked it with a little Sharpie, just to give us some contrast. And there's more scientific ways to do this that are better, but you know, this ain't the space shuttle. Pick a couple of 3 points. Tear up your cheap calipers, what they're for. So that's going to give us an approximate mark right about there. We can eyeball it from here. So that's cool. Next thing we got to do is we got to find our bolt circle. Bolt circle. So we're going to take our 6-bolt adapter and we're going to find the center of this bolt circle. And these are relatively symmetrical. So same deal, take the calipers. We're going to measure across here. We'll go from the inside edge of this hole to the outside edge of this hole. And that is 70 millimeters. And we'll just verify that in a couple of spots here to here. Yep, 70. If you measure from the edge of this hole to the edge of this hole, left to left or right to right, that gives you center. So 70 millimeters, so half of that is 35. These parts are made overseas, so metric is actually easier. 35 mil. Okay. So we got our center. We're going to score ourselves a real faint line here. Alright. That kind of gives me something to work with. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take our center punch. We're going to punch all these holes. And this is our key position here. I'm going to go ahead and trace this circle. Okay. Take our template off gingerly, and what I'm looking to do here is basically center our holes on our line that we drew and orient our arrows correctly. And since we have that line, it actually goes on pretty good. Same deal. I want to keep this just in case I screw up. Alright, our holes are here. Okay. Now we get to go drill again. These are 225. So let's go find a drill bit. Okie dokie. We swapped out our drill bit to 15/64. Alrighty, we're all clamped up. We got 2 1/4 inch hole saw. I've already done the pilot hole so that it goes in relatively smoothly. So here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna flip it over because we have a pilot hole. I'm not a machinist, but that'll work. Yay. Okay, so we're just going to try to trace around the outside, and then we'll wind up cleaning this up with the grinder. And so I know where my out is. We'll put one little notch in it. That way I know exactly where that's at. Okay, let that cool down for a second, and we'll get our grind on. Ta-da! Alright, so this gasket is not real super easy to come by locally. We could order one online, but I really don't have that kind of time. So we got some rubber sheet from the hardware store that I use for various things, and so I have made some nice pretty rubber gasket. That's gonna go like that. All right, so I did originally want to tap these holes, but then I realized our hardware kit for our fuel pump pickup comes with this threaded base, which actually is going to work out really well, except it was a little big, so we just ground down the outside about a Sharpie's width, and now fits in there. So I'm going to put this together. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining along. I hope you learned something new. If you've got any questions or comments, jump down below, do the thing. Burn me on how bad of a job I did, or how you would have done it, or whatever. I know there's one of you out there that's gonna critique me, so do your worst. Like, subscribe, share, send it out to your friends. If you like what we do here, check out our other videos. We sure appreciate you. We try to post every week. And since we've done that video, we got a new toy. Making flanges with holes is kind of a thing now. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.